Good morning, everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday, and I hope you had a great weekend. So I'm still playing around with what I actually want to focus on this podcast. So I am just going through and testing out to see what gets the best views and what you guys really like to listen to and what you guys really want me to talk about. And it always helps if you guys ever just message me any ideas or if you guys want me to talk about something specific or just whatnot, like last week how I did a story. So today I was browsing online and jotting down a couple ideas, but I did find this cool little thing I thought, and it was your top 10 and you can pick whatever you want to do. So I did my top 10 foods, movies, songs, and places I want to travel. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode and just get ready to hear all my favorites at the moment. I tend to change things a lot, and it always depends on what kind of mood I'm in. So some things stay the same, some things change. So, all right. So top 10 foods. If you know me, and if you've ever spent a decent amount of time with me, you will all know that any form of potato is my absolute favorite. Especially mashed potatoes, those are a go-to at all times, but they have to be made right. And so a lot of you know, I am biracial, but I hope no one takes offense to this, but so my brother and sister's side of the family, when they cook, they don't season anything. So when Thanksgiving or when Christmas would come around, whenever I spent the holidays with them, I would already prepare myself to be disappointed because the mashed potatoes were so gross because there was no seasoning, no milk or butter, or just it was so bad. So then it made me start to not like Thanksgiving and Christmas because of the food, and I would be really disappointed unless I went to my dad's house for those holidays, which now I have been more. He just does it differently, and he is such a good cook. So obviously growing up with him and living in the same household, obviously when you move out and then you start to eat other people's food, you kind of expect it to taste how you are used to it tasting. And then when it doesn't, it's a huge disappointment. So I'm really picky when it comes to my mashed potatoes. And if you're going to come to me with some mashed potatoes, they better be bomb, or I'm going to have to tell you about yourself. And that's just how it is. But anyways, so mashed potatoes, I really love French fries. French fries are my go-to. But so last Friday I went to the doctor, and lately I have not been able to really breathe. And I have from the past year, I've probably gained 20 pounds. I'm definitely a lot heavier than I used to be. So my doctor thought it was because of that. So she told me to cut all my carbs out of my diet. And I was like, what? And it's hard because Nick is a chef. So Nick cooks all the time. And it's we usually do have pasta, or he makes this potato casserole. So it's hard to put those out of my diet completely. But then to come to find out, she was like, oh, that's not the problem at all. If you want to lose weight, you can still keep the carbs out of your diet. But she was like, oh yeah, you're anemic. And I was like, oh great, so that's fantastic. So I get to keep the carbs in my diet. And she was like, yeah, you can if you want to. I was like, that's all you have to say. So so those are definitely number one on my list. Number two is pasta. I really, 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 really love chicken Alfredo. It's disgusting. Before Nick moved in with me, and I used to live with my old roommate, I think that I made chicken Alfredo almost every other day, and it was sick, but it was so good. I did not even care. I was like, oh my God, all this pasta, all this Alfredo, like, just please go to my hips, go to my butt, go to wherever you want to go, but just know that I'm making chicken Alfredo at least 3 times a week. And then when Nick would come over, Nick thinks that I can't cook, but, like, Nick doesn't, like, actually know that I can. He just never lets me cook because since he is, like, just the alpha and he cooks all the time, so he just always cooks dinner, so I never get to cook for him. And the one time I've cooked for him, I made him chicken Alfredo, and he will never let me live that down, and he will always talk about how that's all I used to eat before he moved in. I didn't see anything wrong with it, and I wasn't complaining, so it should not be a problem. The next one, I don't really know if I should put it in, like, a desserts category, but, like, I don't really like desserts too much, but I just threw this in here, but I love ice cream. If I could eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would be content with the whole entire universe. Ice cream is so good, and if I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm just, like, feeling really sad or something like that, if I want to, which I haven't ever before, but I know that I could eat a whole carton of ice cream by myself and not even care. And that's just how it goes. Like, ice cream is such a big part. And, like, a couple months ago, I was going through a phase where I was, like, getting, like, chocolate chip ice cream. And usually I'm, like, a butter pecan kind of girl. But, like, and I don't really like chocolate, so it was weird. But I was, like, going through, like, a chocolate chip phase. And I remember Nick went into Giant Eagle, because usually when we go grocery shopping, he just goes in and I sit in the car because he goes through every single aisle. I cannot even take it. So I just sit in the car and I, like, watch Netflix or listen to music. But anyway, he was like, I didn't even ask for anything, and he came out and he's like, I got you ice cream, babe. And I'm like, oh, yay. So we go home, and, like, our routine, like, when we get home from the grocery store, like, I unpack everything and then he puts it all away because his OCD is ridiculous. And I, like, pulled the ice cream out of the bag, and it was chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. And I was like, oh my God, like, I didn't want to, like, sound like a bitch or, like, sound ungrateful, but I hate cookie dough. I think it is so foul, and I don't like that ice cream at all. So I just was looking at him. I was like, oh God, okay. So, to make him happy, and so that, like, I could just not cause an argument and sound like I was being ungrateful, I just took all the chocolate chip cookie dough pieces out of it. I think that if you like that ice cream, honestly, I just can't even agree with you on that, and I don't think we could be friends because it bothers me. I have, like, a weird texture thing kind of going on. But anyways, yeah, so ice cream for sure. Also, lately, so, like, growing up, I've never been, like, the coffee drinker ever, and then I started working night shifts at the hospital, and, like, nothing was keeping me up. So I was like, I guess I have to, like, start drinking coffee to see if it'll help. And sure enough, like, I remember the night that I had my first cup of coffee, and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And ever since then, like, coffee has been such a big part of my life. Like, it's honestly meals. Like, if I don't eat breakfast, like, coffee, 2 cups of coffee, like, substitute that, and coffee is, like, my go-to all the time. I will spend any kind of money on it any day. Nick doesn't understand, but that's fine because I didn't ask him to understand. But coffee is definitely up there with all the others. My next one are burgers. I have not had a good burger in a while. Back in high school, me and my friend Ryan and Kasia, we would go to Applebee's, like, all the time, and we would always get the same thing. We would all get burgers. I think Applebee's has the best burgers ever. I haven't been there in a while, which is really, really disappointing. But, like, I mean, ever since I started dating Nick, we really don't go out to eat too much just because he does cook at home. But, like, even Nick makes a fire burger. Like, they are really good. I haven't been eating a lot of red meat lately, so I haven't had a good burger in a while, which now I'm, like, kind of sad about it. But my doctor said for my diet to eat spinach and red meat 2 times a week, so guess who's having burgers 2 times a week? No, I'm totally kidding. That's way too much. Number 5, I love Chinese food. I just like the lo mein noodles. Sometimes I can go for the chicken, but, like, it has to be cooked right. And so, I'm, like I said, I'm weird with, like, texture, and it just depends on, like, if the chicken's, like, way too, like, chewy, and I feel like that happens sometimes. But, like, lo mein and rice, absolutely. Number 6, we got crab legs. I have not had crab legs. So Nick and I went on vacation this year with my family, and we went to this buffet because I wanted crab legs so bad. I was like, I don't want to leave here without having crab legs, and they were so bad, and it was, like, really disappointing, and it was, like, really expensive where we went. But I haven't had good crab legs since probably middle school, high school, when my grandma was still alive, and my dad and I, when we lived in Beaver Falls, we would put down newspaper, and we would boil a big batch of crab legs, and we would go crazy, like, and I think that's the last time that I've actually had, like, really bomb crab legs. And now I'm in this phase. It started back in, like, January when I wasn't really working. I've started to, like, watching ASMR videos, and it's become a disgusting habit, and it's, like, kind of, like, weird, and I know it's weird, but, like, I love it, but I like to watch them eat the crab legs, and I think that is, like, really odd, but don't judge me. So anyway, so if I think about crab legs anytime, I always go and watch someone else eat them until I can actually go and get some good ones. Next we have turkey burgers. I was always, like, skeptical about turkey burgers, and I've seen, like, a lot of people eat them, and then I was, like, trying to do this diet, so I started to buy them from Giant Eagle. So good. And then since I work at Massage Envy, like, we're always eating out, and it's really gross. But I got a turkey burger from BJ's Brew House. It was so bomb. It had, like, cranberry pieces on it, and I was like, wow, this turkey burger is probably the greatest thing I've ever put in my mouth, ever. Ever. Tacos is on this list. I do like tacos, but I only really like soft shells. I don't really care for hard shells. Also, I like tacos is number 8 on this list, and it kind of should be number 10 because I don't really care for it too much. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just I have to be, like, in the mood for them. Number 9, yeah, so we're gonna switch up. We're gonna put tacos at 10. Next I had soup. I love soup. I particularly like, I really like chicken noodle. Chicken noodle soup is probably a go-to. I don't really care for wedding soup. Now, my sister, she likes hot dogs wedding soup, and it almost makes me kind of want to gag. I don't really care for wedding soup, and I don't really care for meatballs, so I think that plays a part in there. Yeah, not the biggest fan. I do really like tomato soup, and I like chili. And then my last one on there are chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are fire, but they are at the end of the list, even though I replaced tacos. So chicken nuggets went to 8, tacos went to 10. Chicken nuggets are always a go-to for sure. I don't really buy them often, but I do like me a good chicken nugget. Well, so since I am just, like, beginning my podcast, I only do them 15 minutes at a time. So this whole food thing just took up this whole first episode. So there's probably going to be 3 parts to this whole thing. So I will be back in a few, and thanks for listening.